Live streaming is on.
And so, what 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 I would like for the sponsorship proposal is to be very simple, as simple as possible, to obviously include it in one of the purposes of the MO, that is easily then updated, evolved for the long term, right? We know, I mean, obviously, this is a long term project, although we are focusing now on this project zero to get it on its feet. But given what I have just learned, I got clarity on the MO. Just a comment on that. I think.
I guess I don't really understand. So you got clarity on the Mo in terms of what and how does that relate to the ACU sponsorship proposal?
No. I mean, that's relating in transforming the world, in transforming society.
You're not talking about ACU?
No. I'm talking since I just realized how well, I mean, the sponsorship proposal should be functional to that, to what the more purpose is, looking at the long-term relationship, right? But I believe it's already built that way. I mean, that's the way we just do things, I believe. But
I guess I just don't really understand what you're saying and what you're talking about. Like, 99.99% of projects never interact with the umbrella organization in any way whatsoever, right? They just do their own thing. So
okay.
Can you explain? I don't understand what you're saying. So if you just go into a little bit more details, like, I definitely understand that you said very clearly that last week, for the first time, you understood very important things about the sponsorship model and program and the MOs and everything. So I have no idea what you learned, but I do understand that you learned.
Yeah. So what I learned is that even though, I mean,
stop, close your eyes, count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Open your eyes.
Even though, I mean, as you know, I mean, most things until you don't clarify them to me, and I don't get them. But once you clarify, I get them, and it's pretty cool. So this is what happened also with the Mo. The Mo, the incredible thing about the Mo is that, as you explained very well the last week to me, is that to me and to whoever was in the session, I don't remember who was there, is that the peculiarity, the uniqueness of the Mo is that, yes, there is many programs in the world, social programs and people that do good, but the point is that civilization and society are structured in a way that it's so complicated that you kind of are isolated in your little space, right? It's very difficult to expand from one area of society to another area because the laws and the taxes and whatever, it's so complicated.
Absolutely.
While the incredible thing about the Mo is that it's built in a way that it can infiltrate any branch of society so that we can transform society
on every level. Is the right word, but yes, exactly. So what does that have to do with the ACU program, the sponsorship proposal?
I don't know. I just want to say that if possible to build a sponsorship proposal that it can function, that can be functional to the purpose of this bigger picture of the Mo, to be able to help not infiltrate. I agree with you. Maybe it's not the right word, but I mean, it can be helpful to the Mo in, I don't know, accessing some part of society that we need to access in order to transform society at every level. That's what I want to say.
Okay, so I mean,
to keep this in mind, not for now, but for the long term, so that the sponsorship proposal can be easily evolved in this way.
So I mean, when we're going through, like, for example, the mission, the vision, and all that, I think that's a better place, right? Obviously, it's integrated with the sponsorship proposal, but we'll get there. But the question in terms of, like, the purpose would be, like, if you want the ACU to have some sort of purpose in supporting, the network in Vortex, that is perfectly fine. And what's so cool about the Vortex and about the network and the whole structure that we built is that there doesn't have to be there doesn't need to be a single organization that supports the Vortex. Like there can be dozens, right? Even though the vast majority.
Time for breath. Please stop and get ready. Now inhale. 1, 2, 3. Exhale. 1, 2, 3. Pause. Inhale together. 1, 2, 3. Exhale. Relax.
The vast majority of programs and organizations in the Vortex and the network obviously do not support the network. I mean, that's obvious, right? But that doesn't mean that ACU doesn't have to do that. So it's up to you, and that can be part of the purpose. But I think the key thing here is that you want a simple organizational structure to get things going. Like
yes,
the activity would never exist without just Innovate without BJC LLC, right? It's just like my sole proprietorship and BJC, and then evolving into BJC LLC, and then evolving that. And it's like you have to start from somewhere. You start with a simple organizational structure, like a simple LLC or a simple corporation or whatever you want to do, and then you can grow and evolve from there. But it's good to start somewhere.
Yeah, I totally agree with you. Let's start as easy as possible, as simple as possible. Let's get this bureaucratic part, let's say, it's not really bureaucratic, but as understand the meaning, let's get over it. But let's always, when we do this work, let's keep in mind for the long-term evolution that if at one point we understand where this ACU, or together with what from ACU is originated, can benefit, can be functional, is the right word, can be functional to the most purpose of transforming society at every level, we should be able to quickly adapt it to this. Yes, this is what I want to say. To keep this in mind always. That's the. I mean, if we do something just for the sake of doing it, there is no sense to me. We're doing something because it needs to be a component of them all in helping transforming society at some level.
Yeah, but we have to understand that obviously ACU itself is obviously not the Mo. You're just talking about being able to quickly adapt to the needs of the Vortex and the societal structures for transformation to support the Mo.
Exactly, absolutely.
All right, so the only thing I want to make sure is very, very clear, and why the ACU program, why the sponsorship proposal is so very, very important, and for me the most important thing, because like you can call it paperwork, you can call it administrative, you can call it like all the boring things, but the thing that's really exciting about it, and the thing that gets me super jazzed up
Time
and like
to pause. Please stop. Close your eyes. Count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Open your eyes.
is understanding the fundamental principle of legality.
Yeah.
Right. Because a lot of when you work with human legal systems, which is the only way I work, right? I don't deal with like legalese and lawyers and all that stuff. It's just like, what is the core of legality and what does it mean to have a human legal system? And it's all about empowerment and collective co-creation. The process of a group of people co-creating together can become a legal experience. And once it becomes legal, it becomes immutable, it becomes unchangeable, it becomes something that actually means something. Whereas the moment it's not legal, there's no meaning, right? It's like, yeah, someone said something for an hour, but then next week it can just totally change. Like there's nothing that actually holds it. There's no legal structure to hold it in place, right? So for me, the most important thing of legality is the group of people, and the people themselves are represented into the paperwork instead of the other way around. So for me, legality is the essence of existence at all. And it has nothing to do with paperwork. It has nothing to do with administrative bureaucracy. It has everything to do with consciousness and with a group of people consciously co-creating together in a legal sense, right? So for me, that's a very exciting process of understanding your legality, because without that, there's nothing. right? There's just talk, there's just words, there's just whatever happens to happen in that day, but it doesn't affect future generations. It doesn't affect the future, you know?
Yeah, thank you so much for this clarification. As soon as I said bureaucratic,
Yeah.
I felt it wasn't right, but
Yeah, but some of the
we want to get started, but we want to have this experience, which I agree with you. It's pretty cool.
Yeah.
We do.
Yeah. So because you're hiring me and working with me, my personal recommendation is just to skip the proposal right now. Just not to look at the proposal. We have it there. We can look at it. We can glance at it as needed. But for me, my recommendation would be to really focus on the core of what we're really trying to do and what we're really trying to understand. Because obviously I know the sponsored proposal like the back of my hand. So that would be my recommendation, is just like going to some questions, going to some concepts and understandings and see what we can build, and then going back and going into more detail on the actual sponsorship proposal. But I think there's a couple things we just want to really get, into.
Okay. Yeah, sure. I agree with you.
Okay, so the most important.
Stretch.
All
Please
right,
stop.
30 seconds.
Stand up and stretch and move around for 30 seconds.
All right, so for me, the most important thing of all is, you have your group of people, and the goal is to empower them. Then you have your experiential guiding transformative practice, right? So you're building this practice, and it's experiential practice. It's a guiding practice, and the goal is to transform individuals, right? Pretty much. I mean, when you do the practice, and you're going to evolve, right? That's the point, right?
Well, I wouldn't say transform, because it's just this practice is meant
evolutionary. Okay. The point is that before you practice and afterwards you want to change, right? There's a change that happens in people. They improve. They get better, right?
maybe I don't know if I can say that, but for sure they would remember things about themselves that they have forgotten. This is what really is the focus. Right? People to remember things that are there, and they just don't.
Remembering practice. Okay, but hey, what's up, Ate?
Hello, sorry, I'm here. Alberto, can you kindly jump and Unity just for 2 minutes, please?
Well, we're in the middle of a very important session right now.
Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, we're doing ACU session. Like Alberto's our client and paying lots and lots of money. So
yeah. Oh, I'm sorry.
Well, no, but what question do you have? Because it's not professional just to say, oh, you need to do this and not tell someone what.
Yeah, it's just I would like to know how to get the jurisdiction period.
You divide the jurisdiction by 120, which is
Okay.
the report.
Okay, thank you. Bye. Sorry.
Right, no problem. Yeah.
Time to pause. Please stop. Close your eyes. Count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Open your eyes.
A little pressure, and she went right to the point. It was beautiful. All right. So, and we'll keep practicing and getting people to get right to the point from the beginning. Yeah. All right. So, experiential guiding, remembering practice, right? So basically, you have the group of people that are empowered, and then you have the experiencing, guiding, remembering practice itself. That my understanding is you basically want to empower the practice in some way separately than the people. And then the people, there's two branches of people. For my understanding is that you have basically the membership, which basically, controls overall, and then you have the owners and the equity, which gains monetary monetary goals, but no control. So my understanding is there's 3 parts of power that you are trying to build here. One is the, basically the overall membership, the overall power of the entity. The 2 is that, equity or some sort of monetary gains that don't have power over decision making for anything but getting money gains. And then the 3rd part is you kind of want to empower the practice itself separately from the organizational framework. So does that sort of so for me, I just want to deep dive and have understanding about what does it mean to empower the practice? What does it mean to separate the equity and the monetary goals from the organizational goals? And just kind of have a deep dive here on this. That sort of makes sense in terms of getting more understanding on that?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I mean, I'm not sure because to me the ownership I haven't figured it out yet. So for the moment, I would put everything in a trust and then we see.
A trust of what? Okay, so that's another model. So if we go over here, we can say, okay, a trust, what is the trust? What is the trust? What is the goal of the trust? Everything can be a trust, right? But
yeah,
that still doesn't change the fact that there does need to be decision making. So for example, a trust typically has, instead of owners, you've got grantors, grantors, and guardians. Instead of a board of directors, you have a board of trustees, right? So that's the primary structural model.
Yeah.
Now inhale, 1, 2, 3, exhale, 1, 2, 3, pause. Inhale together, 1, 2, 3, exhale, relax.
So, so just to back up a second here,
yes.
Right? Just to make sure we're on the same page. The goal is to immediately move forward. So I'll put here line 50 goal, to immediately move forward with important decisions as soon as possible, right? So for me, that's the goal. And in order to do that, we need a decision-making and organizational structure to make decisions, right? Or am I wrong?
Perfect. Yeah.
So whatever we do is temporary, but it's important to understand that it's temporary in the sense, remember when we did the SVG logo? It's temporary in the sense that, okay, is until we make a new agreement, the previous agreement ends, unless you fork, right? You can always fork something as needed, right?
Yeah.
If you can't get any agreement to change something, you can always fork it without agreement, right? So,
okay. So I would ask you here. Here I would go to the sponsorship proposal draft.
Okay, so in the proposal, yeah.
Yeah. So what was your idea?
So basically, I'm talking about number 6, 7. That's pretty much it. Number 6 and 7. Who and how are decisions made? Who makes decisions? How are decisions made? Right. So when I'm talking about, okay, in the bottom line is the group of people, right? The group of people making decisions. Who's making decisions? Why are they making decisions? And how are decisions made? So we can kind of ignore the how right now and just focus on the who first, because the who can also be multiple bodies, right? But what
the who,
we have,
I was thinking about this bouncy. Yeah, for the moment we can call it bouncy or
but to see the thing, that's where we get into the administrative and just the bureaucratic systems and the structures and administration. For me, a bouncil is not a who, a bouncil is a what.
Okay, right? So whoever is there in the present.
Okay, that's a great start. Okay.
Whoever is there in the present, like it's the three of us now. We need to make a decision. We make the proposal. We vote. The three of us. We are here. We are present. We are aware of our existence, and we decide together. If
Close your eyes.
everybody's in agreement, we move forward.
2, 3, 4, 5. Open your eyes.
So that's perfect. Okay, so a couple things here. One, whoever is there and is present, that is that's a type of open system, right? So it can be open in multiple ways. One, it can be open in terms of time, and other, it can be open in terms of people. So in terms of time, you can say, okay, right now in this moment, the three of us are here. And so the fact that the three of us are here in this moment, it's just open to the fact that we're here. And there happens to be three of us here in this moment, right? So, but that's still a very constrained moment, right? Because there can always be a future moment. Also, you could argue there's actually three additional people. There's Everest, Ate, and Mamoon, who are technically currently.
Yeah, we would ask to everybody who's there if they want to vote. Like if we make a proposal now, we would also share it with Ate, Evaris, Mamoon, whoever is. I mean, when I say whoever is here, I'm talking always about the FQV, right? Who is now active under the vortex, right? So whoever is active under the vortex, yeah.
Cool. All right, so that's a type of or open system, right? So from there, the next question is like, okay, well, what if there's a session and you're not there? What if we schedule an ACU session, you can't make it for some reason, and we're all there working on ACU? Then what do you think? Based on
I think that if I wasn't there, I wasn't meant to be there, and of course I'm gonna review the decision. And the decision is, we always strive to supportive consensus. So if I would be very strong, if anybody, even Mel, let's say Mel, we take some decision, and then she comes to the next session and she said, "Okay, but." As she does anyway. So anyway, yeah.
Okay, so one thing that I heard you imply there is I heard you imply our FQV decision-making model, which includes specifically the democratic trilogy, where basically you have representative democracy, participatory democracy, and direct democracy. So you could even just go to the dual model of if the representation is just whoever's there in the moment, then you could cut out the representation and just have participatory and direct democracy in terms of decision making. So the participatory is those who are present, and then the direct is those who are not present.
Time to take a break. Please stop, write down whatever you were about to say, and take a break for 6 minutes.
So we're taking a break, but if you're striving towards supportive consensus, and if you're not there, you weren't meant to be there, but you can review the decision and then input synchronously, that would be direct democracy, right? So anyways, let's take a 5-minute break. When we come back, we can keep going through here, but it'll be very easy to just fork and duplicate a simplified model of the FQV decision-making, for example, just the duocracy or something like that. Yeah. So let's take a 5-minute break and we'll just keep going. We're making tons of progress here. This is really good.
Perfect. Yeah. 5-minute break.